slowly creeped in with fear, her eyes on the map. And crash! She hit a strange man. Her car swerved on the highway and she hit a tree. Did Molly just kill a man? Was Molly dead? No. She woke up in a burning, crashed car. The hauntingly beautiful fire, untouched by the fog. But where was David? David should have been there, right? The forest, not sane, stood amidst the darkness, holding all the horrors together. Molly screamed out David's name, but all she got was the echo of her own voice. And she ran to the forest. She panicked. She kept screaming and running and screaming and panicking until she finally reached a small cabin, an old cabin in the middle of nowhere. Old, burnt, brown, with a single candle burning through its window. And an old oak wood door sensibly shut. And snap! The man reappeared. The man she had just killed. Except it was a horror. His broken skull to his demangled eye to his chin to an ugly, disgusting wound on his abdomen. He was a living corpse. His skull was broken into half. It was a horror. Molly went blank, the life strained from her eyes. She ran to wherever the road took her. She ran, desperate, alone, desolate. Her brain going foggy, her eyes going whiter. She couldn't think, she couldn't speak, she just ran. Until she finally stumbled into Sam and Dean, the infamous ghost hunters. Apparently, they were on the same mission. They were in search for the ghost Molly had just run from. And like sensible human beings, they offered Molly their help. But no, Molly insisted that they return to the car crash site in search of David. So they walked. They walked slowly, carefully. They walked until they reached the site. But something was wrong. There was no fire, there was no car, no chaos. Everything disappeared. Was Molly going insane? It looked like the accident never happened. And in a sinister twist of things, an eerie tune shot from the woods. A familiar tune. The tune playing when Molly crashed the car. And suddenly the ghost reappeared, ready to stab Molly with his blunt knife when bang! Dean shot him with salt water and holy water. And the ghost screamed and vanished shortly. Molly sighed. Was it finally over? That's when Dean revealed his real mission. The ghost had haunted the highway on October 31 every year since the year 1999. The year he was killed by a strange woman from a car. It was all so strange. And just when things were over, the eerie, familiar tune shot again from the woods. And this time, Molly followed it, slowly, with Dean and Sam behind her. And finally, she reached a building at the end of the forest. And oh, finally, her husband David was inside. But he was with another woman. Molly was confused. It was chaotic. How was David in that building? David was supposed to be in a car crash. What was happening? Sam and Dean returned to the cabin to find the real corpse of the ghost. And snap, out went the matchstick as Sam dropped it over the real skeleton of the ghost. The ghost reappeared and he burnt. He screamed angrily as the very essence of him burnt. And it was over. But Molly couldn't forget the sight of David. What was happening? Why was David in a strange building with a new woman? And seeing her, Sam finally opened his mouth to reveal what she has been missing all along, the missing piece of the puzzle. Molly, you have been dead for 24 years, Dean whispered. Molly screamed. Her eyes went wide. Her brain was foggy. She couldn't think. She remembered it. She remembered it all now. She was the ghost. She was the spirit. It all made sense. It was her. She killed the strange old man in the year 1999 on the highway when her husband David, like the coward he was, fled, leaving Molly alone to die. Molly had haunted the highway every year on October 31 since 1999. She was angry. She started burning up. Her translucent spirit was burning up on the verge that the fire was no longer yellow. It was white. It was spooky. And in anger, she sang the same old tune. The same tune that Molly and David listened to when that unfortunate incident happened. Until finally, David came out, inspecting. He went blank at the sight of his ex-wife's dead ghost. But Molly was burning up. She was angry. She charged towards David. David wanted to scream, but David had lost his voice. And Molly charged forward. Molly was quickening. Her fire was burning. Her fire was getting brighter. And it happened. Molly burnt. And along with her did David. The fire was the most beautiful it had ever been, as the night consumed both their souls. David stood silently as Molly took her 24-year-old vengeance. The night was over. Sam and Dean were watching all along. They took some Halloween candy from the porch. They sat down and watched as all of this unraveled. As the clock finally ticked to 12 a.m., thus ending 31 October. And with that, the story of Molly's vengeance. All that on Halloween? What an irony, right? Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Madhushri Das Sharma, here with my story composed by me only. And story is all about a dashing birthday. Diva while entering Ryan's apartment. Ryan, where are you? It's your birthday. Oh, come on, wake up. Frankly, I think he is in the washroom. Oh, hi, Frankly. So you are making cupcakes for Ryan, huh? Such a great partner he has. Frankly. Thank you so much, Diva. Yes, it's his birthday. I want to make it very special for him. Ryan. Oh, hello, ladies. I am here. The birthday boy is here. Oh, cupcakes. Thank you so much, honey. And Diva, good morning. Diva. Happy birthday to my best friend forever. Ryan. And where is my gift? You are here without a gift. Diva. No, absolutely not. I have already ordered your favorite red velvet cake. And before the party tonight, I will bring it for you. Oh, wow, Diva. You are such a great friend. Leave all this and now let's sit and have our breakfast. Frankly, will you please serve us? Frankly. Sure, why not? They were having breakfast. After breakfast, Diva. Thank you so much. I must say the breakfast was awesome. Frankly, I have made cupcakes also, and you are going to bring red velvet cake. Then what I will do of these cupcakes? Ryan, don't worry, I am a hungry beast. I will eat all of those. After some time, Diva said that she will leave now and she will get and bring the cake for the Ryan's birthday party. Ryan, Diva, take my car. The journey will be comfortable for you. Frankly, yes, Diva, please take the car. Diva left the apartment with the car. After 4 hours, Doorbell rings. Ryan, I think Diva is here already with my birthday cake. Frankly. No, I guess some of your other friends are here. Ryan, open the door. Yes, it is Diva. And I already said she is here with my birthday cake. Frankly. So sweet of you, Diva. Thank you so much. The journey was comfortable, no? Diva, yes, it was very much comfortable. Frankly. Okay, you guys please have a seat. I will go to the nearest shop. Let me buy a wine for the party. What say, guys? Diva and Ryan was talking. Frankly left the apartment. Ryan. So, this is the birthday cake. And what is this near it? A knife? But this is so huge. Seems like someone is going to cut a human, not a cake with this knife. Diva. It's a special knife for the special birthday cake for my special best friend. Frankly, while returning from the wine shop, I never liked the friendship between Ryan and Diva. I was always jealous of Diva. I didn't like her so much, and that's why I brake-filled the car which she was riding to the cake shop. But nothing happened to her. Right now, blood should be everywhere in the car, in the road. But nothing like that happened. Diva is sitting and enjoying with Ryan in the apartment. And I am here buying the wine for them. Is that word going? While returning to the apartment, what is this sticky thing in my leg? Wait, what, blood? But from where it is coming? Oh, I see, from the nearest bush. A car. There was an accident. Same car, same number. This is our car. That means Diva is no more. Blood is in the road. Then who is she with the Ryan in the apartment? She ran and came back to the apartment. Diva was saying, it's a special birthday cake decorated with some fresh blood, Ryan, just for you. Frankly, Ryan, run! Ryan saw it is not Diva, it's her ghost. They run from that place. Frankly, let's get into my car. They drove the car as fast as they can. After an hour of driving, frankly, I think she is not near us now. Ryan, what happened to her? Frankly, it was all my fault. Ryan, frankly, look, the road is ending. U-turn, press the brake. Frankly, the brake is not working, Ryan, the brake is not working. Ryan, we will not survive. In the apartment, the whole apartment is decorated with candles. Beautiful Diva is sitting in the dining table. The red velvet cake is served in the table. She is cutting the cake and chanting, Happy birthday to you, my best friend. Happy birthday to you, my best friend. Blood is coming out from every part of her body. Memorable birthday, no? Thank you.
Good afternoon to one all present here. I am Shaintika Sarkar, and here I'm to tell you a story of Halloween party. Life in a world is not something that we exist in. It is something that we cherish to live in, which gives a feeling of peace, a willingness to desire, a word of love and security. What if all these cease to exist? Will you leave or stay? Have you ever thought that there might be a world within a world which we don't see, but we may discern it? When we look at the mirror and touch our palms against the glass, do you sense there's another one that feels you, is watching you, and want you to draw to yourself? I felt it. A years back, I received a letter. It was from Kaohsiung, a Christian family. I recognized it at the moment. It was from none other than my childhood friend, as she belonged from Kaohsiung, and she was from a Christian family. It said, "Dear Sire, a heartfelt greetings from your sweetest friend. Hope you're in a good health. It's been years since we have met. As you know, we celebrate Halloween party every year. This year too, we are, and it's going to be special one, as you will be here. It's a themed party, so don't forget to check on your outfits." The address was at late evening, White Scott Mansion near the old school Kaohsiung. I was eager to meet her, so was she. As the journey drew me closer to the destination, the feeling of eeriness emerged. I was all set for the Halloween party. Reached the specified address absolutely on time. But a chill ran down my spine. Couldn't believe my eyes of what I saw. Standing right in front of the White Scott Mansion, magnanimous and absolutely Dutch Gothic style. The noise from inside was loud. The party begins. But I don't know why I felt unholy, although didn't pay much attention to it. The gatekeeper checked my invitation card, unlatched the huge iron door, and let me in. My lens caught everything. A perfectly spooky party. Intense animatronics, bloody and frightening set pieces, rustic antics, scary music and sounds, dynamic lightning, fog everywhere. And the most exciting thing was that costumed actors with elaborate makeup and masks and other special effects used to create scenes of terror. It was exciting, but I was more eager to search for my friend because I'm here to meet her. Looked around, but couldn't get hold of her. So I went up through the staircase, called her name out loud, but the party noise surpassed my voice. Going through the creepy hallway, many red wooden doors passed by me. I got to remind of the movie It. It Chapter 1, It Chapter 2. Oh, sorry. I entered one of them. It was empty. Instead of leaving, I stayed still. A few steps apart, there stood an enchanted mirror. My feet went closer and closer. When looked deeper into the mirror, my limbs froze. My eyes drowned in the crystal diamond. As I've never looked so beautiful in my entire life. Suddenly, a bright light flashed into my pupil. I turned around, and the world seemed upside down to me. The light turned into dark. The beauty became hideous. The clean and cozy room was filled with dust, cobwebs, sheets on furniture, peeling wallpapers, gaps in the floorboards, holes on the walls, ripped wallpapers and curtains, and broken glass on the floor. The beauty of the mirror vanished in one blow. The lights began to flicker. I saw a shadow approaching towards me. My mind went black. All I could feel was fear and trauma. I ran towards the door. It was locked. Tried to break through it, but it seemed impossible. I felt suffocating. I shouted with my dried tongue. "Anybody there? Anybody? Help me!" The door suddenly opened. And the flash, everything came to still. I ran down the stairs. To my utter shock, nobody was there. Horrific and empty. I left the mansion immediately, took a taxi, and went back home. Scare and terror filled the night. I couldn't sleep, couldn't get my eyes closed. Next morning, I decided to visit my friend's house. I met her mother. It took my breath away when she said, "It has been 5 years, my dear, since Nina has died." I immediately checked out the letter which she had sent to me. It had no name on it. Till today, it's a horrific mystery to me. Was it real? Was I dreaming? Because the White Scott mansion never ever existed. Thank you.
That was a great performance, Santika. Moving on to our fourth participant. Please welcome Aparna Jena.
Ladies and gentlemen, imagine a night where the wind whispers and the shadows dances in the midnight. A night where the line between the reality and the nightmare blurs. This is a story that I have made from the depths of my own existence. Brace yourself as I'm about to share a very chilling story that will run shivers down your spine. So good afternoon everyone, this is Aparna Jena from BB88 and my story begins with a house. A seemingly ordinary house tucked away at the end of a quiet street. This house is gonna give me chills when it goes on in future. So when I went back to Orissa in one of my summer vacation holidays, so a little bit of context, we were planning to buy a house prior to our holidays, and when we go back home, we were supposed to stay in that house. So when we reached that house, when we reached Orissa, we were all very excited, but that excitement was very short-lived because soon this house is gonna turn into a very horrifying nightmare. When we reached Orissa, as I mentioned, we went to the house straight away. The moment I entered the house, it gave me a very eerie feeling, as if there was already someone in the house except for us, as if I was being watched. But I shrugged it off, thinking that it maybe is just me, maybe because I'm just tired from all the traveling and my mind's just playing tricks on me, right? The first few days were pretty normal. There was nothing out of the blue. As the days went by, the feeling of being watched became more prominent. I would occasionally see fleeting shadows from the corner of my eyes. But I somehow convinced myself that no, this is not true, this is not happening, and this is all just a mere product of my own imagination. One night, while I was laying down in my bed, I saw it for the first time. It was a horrific, a dark, instinctive figure that stepped into view at the end of the hallway. I froze. I was drenched in sweat and my heart was pounding so fast. I cried out to my mother in fear, but by the time my mother arrived, the figure was not there anymore. When I mentioned this to my mother, the only response I got back from my mother was that it's all in your head. There's nothing there. Your mind's just playing tricks on you, right? Later on one evening, when all of us family members were planning to go out for a family dinner, we hear the door of my room slam shut. All of a sudden, there was nothing wrong with it. So when me and my father went ahead to check what it was or what caused it to happen, the strange thing was there was no one inside. Neither the door were open or the windows were open, so definitely couldn't be the wind, right? While we were investigating what was happened or what has happened, we hear someone run right past us from the hallway. We both froze because it was something we didn't even imagine is going to happen. And this was the time, it wasn't just me who heard it or felt it, it was as well as my father who felt it and heard it. So that was the moment when I told my parents that I'm not gonna live in this house anymore and I'm not gonna spend a single moment in this house anymore. This house is just a house. It can never be a home to us because of what we have experienced there. Thankfully, later on, my parents, we moved out of that house and somehow we managed to sell that house in a few later years. I still remember how the door slammed and the running footsteps I heard in the hallways. And it not only gives me chills, but also haunts me till this day. Thank you.
Thank you, Aparna, for your wonderful performance. Now, let's call upon stage Shubhankar Mandal. Please give him a big round of applause.
Hello and good morning everyone. I am Shubhankar Mandal from BBA first year. Here I have my own experience that I have. So please concentrate and feel what I am saying. One fine night, my friends and I planned to go to downhill, Kashyang. So we took my friend's car and we were 5 together. We went there, like we were on the way. We enjoyed, we had fun, we were we were listening music, we were so excited, and some friends were saying there's nothing, we'll make videos and all. Near Rongtong, we started feeling some negative vibes. The music was loud. We were enjoying, but suddenly we got some negative vibes in the car. It was so horrifying and everyone was silent. But the car was moving. Slowly, we felt that something is beside our car, moving with us. I opened the window and I saw. I saw nothing. But it was a hot wind that entered in the car. Everyone was like so horrifying, like how at night 2 a.m. Wind is like so hot. That we ignored and we started the car again. By the time we were going, we felt that a tree was shaking its branches like so heavily. So we thought that we will see that what is happening. Like we all were like, let's see, देखेंगे क्या हो रहा है. We stopped and we came out of the car. And there was nothing but a white cloth falling in the street. We were so scared that we just ran to the car and we drove to Kashyang. And in Kashyang, we were thinking that we will go to downhill or not after all that because we were scared. But some of my friends said, let's go, we have came, we'll not go back. We drove to downhill. The streets are like very horrifying and all, but on the way the car was slow. We saw some kids were like playing or something at that time, like midnight. How it's possible? We were so like horrified, like what's happening? What is this we are seeing? But there's no option for us that we will U-turn our car. The road is so thin. We have to go in forward only. My friend just speed up the car and he drove. But when we crossed them, the children's, the car was just banged so high that it was like someone has thrown a big stone or have slapped the car so tightly. And we don't have any like power to look back. We just run. And we stopped at like directly in the wrong turn near a tea shop. And then it was time 5:30, approx 5:30. We came out of the car. We checked the car properly. Everything was okay. Nothing had happened to our car, but just a thing was that there was a black print of hand at the bonnet. Like, it was so scary that from that time it was once that I and my friends went downhill. We never went more back. Thank you.
So before I start, I just want to ask you all one thing. Are you all aware of Mona Lisa building situated just nearby Inspiria Knowledge Campus? Yeah, many of them. Okay, well, the story begins from here. On 27 Feb 2020, a family from Assam came all the way to Siliguri, and the landlord assigned them the ground floor. The family, along with mother, father, and 2 daughters, we started staying there. Meanwhile, one night, just randomly, they heard a sound like her younger daughter is crying very badly. Her younger daughter and her elder daughter used to sleep in separate room. The sound was very bad. They just went in that room and they just saw her younger daughter is crying very, very badly. They just asked, "Where is your sister?" And the only thing was, and look what was there on the wall. The elder sister was facing on the wall, towards the wall. Towards the wall, yeah. And they asked, "What happened? Why are you facing towards the wall?" The end was, no response. No response. They just went to the first floor, second floor. They went outside. They were calling for help, 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 banging the doors. No response. They even called the doctor that, "Please help us. I don't know what's wrong with my elder daughter. She's not responding." And the doctor was, "Where do you stay?" "Mona Lisa." Call cut. Even the phone, he switched off his phone. They are still trying, what's wrong, what's wrong. They are telling what's happened to you. Please respond, please respond, please respond. No response. And she was continuously crying that time. It was like this gone on. It was around 2:35, something was happening at the night. Then at 4 o'clock, the girl turned straight and they asked, "So what's wrong with you? What happened to you last night?" And the story begins here. Before, it was the top of 2007, when there was a family, a mother, father and a daughter used to stay in that floor. And the thing that happened was, her daughter was suffering from a disease and she suddenly died, and she was just the age of 4. And she used to play with a lot of dolls and everything. And still today in Mona Lisa, you can see the doll in Beaving, second floor, you can still see that 2 dolls made out of jute. So you have seen maybe. Yes, sir. And even you can see on the stairs, you can find the candle wax. Even if the sweeper sweeps it every day, still you will find the wax. Then she told that I was having a daughter who died due to disease. And on that thought, I was like, hell, I don't know what to do. I won't survive anything. She used to light up candle on the memory of her daughter. And she used to stick in the stairs. And the dolls which she used to play, she has put in the floor. Then suddenly she went into like depression. She doesn't used to talk anyone. Then his husband left her. She went into depression and soon she's committed suicide. But she was having a great touch with that floor. She was like, her husband has built with a lot of efforts. So she can't went off from that floor. She can't went off that floor. So Her soul is still roaming in that floor, and still today, if the landlord is willing to sell the floor in a very, very reasonable amount, nobody is willing to buy that floor. That's from my side. Thank you.
All right. Apologies for my voice. It really isn't doing the best today, but I'm going to try my best to do good by this story. This was an original prompt, so I hope everybody likes it. Absolutely. All right. An account of nothingness. My neck felt odd. It was as if my head was floating, alone without any body to anchor it, seemingly suspended in the void. This was not darkness. This was not merely the absence of a light source. This was an absence of light itself, as though it ceased to exist from the material realm. Then it hit me, a numbness that I'd never want to experience again, one that I would not wish upon my greatest enemy. This numbness, in its stead, I would prefer to be scorched by the sun again and again and again for eons to come. I tried to scream. I tried to gasp. But nothing came to me, neither air nor a hint of blood. It seemed I had succeeded. I could give anything at that moment to feel the air escaping me as I hung from that rope, letting go of the sweet sensation of life. It seems it's true that you only learn how much you love something once you let it go. A moment of hesitation could have saved me. That thought filled me with regret. A snapped neck, but I would have lived. A lifetime spent locked in a bed would have been preferable to this eternal absence. I could not tell what it was. The ever so slightly fleeting sensation of my limbs, the dread dripping onto me, the crippling cold that wrapped my own self. Suddenly, there was a light, a bright, vibrant light. I felt like a newborn, opening my eyes for the first time. But there was no caressing hand by my cheek. There was no cacophony of noise, no cries of joy. There was not one other set of eyes peering into mine. There were countless instead. What would a fly see? Suddenly stuck, unable to move its wings, unable to take flight. Certainly it would try and force itself to move. Of course, it would never be able to notice the rumbling that got closer and closer to it, until its wide vision was fixated upon one thing. It was so big, it was so enormous, and yet it moved so quickly. Why does it have so many eyes? Why does it have so many legs? The fly thinks, wrapped into a web by a hungry, merciless God. There, my human form was the same as that of a mere fly caught into a spider's web. Another gasp for air, and another dry desert of stimulation. But I was hypnotized by the myriad of countless eyes, all fixated upon me, staring into my very being. All I was able to see was that. All I was able to feel was the rushing of hormones through intangible channels. And all that they did was incite the most primal response in humankind: fear. It seems that we fail to believe. Through the ages, we had instructions. We had the rules, scripted onto our own brothers' minds. But we called them sick. We tried to treat them. They were the only ones able to lead a sheep away from the lurking wolf. Life has become too easy. Life is not held as closely to one's chest as then. Life has been forsaken. And so have we been forsaken. I am but an ant in this vast expanse. This vast expanse of unrecognizable sensations and experiences, voices and words that mean nothing, filler that fills my brain with nothing but dread. There was never a light at the end of the tunnel. I would have preferred flames and fiery wastelands. There were never screams nor blood. I would have preferred that my bones crumble for centuries. And the human brain, its biggest flaw, displayed for him to see in all its entirety. A non-volatile memory, a never-ending algorithm, an impenetrable black box. Nothingness is my prison, my eternal damnation.
Front of the building of the Federal Bureau of Anomalies. The building itself was large, imposing structure. I couldn't ignore the cold and eeriness while looking at the massive grey building. As I entered, a lady approached me, asked me if I need any assistance. As I explained her that I am here to meet the director of the anomaly. As I looked at her, she started to scroll down her tablet screen. After a few seconds, she said, "Come, follow me." She walked towards the elevator and stood there for a while. And she said, "This elevator seems to be on the maintenance. We could use the other elevator." As she walked towards the second elevator. The second elevator was quite far. It was quite hidden. And the lady gestured me to enter the elevator. As I did, she swiftly closed the elevator door. I found myself trapped inside the elevator, pounding on the door. I called out, yet it appeared there is no effort. I glanced over the control panel, and weirdly, there were only 3 buttons, 6, 7, and 45. As I pressed the button 6, nothing happened. Just light flickered and elevator music played, but no motion. 7 seems to work, but it descended downwards and down. After a few minutes, the elevator door opened. The door opened and I saw a long hallway, a hallway which almost looked like a hotel's hallway, and the corridor with rooms on each side. I stepped out the elevator, lights started to flicker, and becoming more dimmer and dimmer, the elevator door shut down behind me, and I looked at the corridor, and it looked as if it was endless. I saw a faint white light at the end of the corridor, and I started to walk towards it. As I was walking, I could feel my heart beating quicker, and I could feel the presence behind me. I looked behind, and I saw a tall, thin figure staring at me. As I tried to look at him, even waved, but he was unresponsive. The light flickered back to life, revealing a tall figure. He stood at least 6 feet tall. He was lean. It was he didn't even look human. His skin was a shade of white and his eyes wide, unblinking, a smile that stretched across his face. So, continuing my walk, I glanced back to find the figure still unmoving, and I spotted a door with a fire exit logo. Suddenly, I felt hopeful, but suddenly, the loud footstep echo growing closer. I turned to see the tall figure hauling towards me. I panicked and started making a run to the fire exit, but I could hear the footsteps getting louder, the screams getting louder, and suddenly it stopped as I grabbed the doorknob of the fire exit. I looked at the tall figure again, and it was motionless. As I entered the fire exit, I breathed a sigh of relief. So, as I started my ascent up to the stairs, I felt like an eternity before I made any progress. I stopped, leaned against the railing, and looked down into the abyss. At the bottom, it seems endless, but I spotted the same white light through the darkness. I fixed my gaze at the white light and the only signal of hope that I had. So, again, I began my descent downwards, and yet time had passed. I sensed fatigue in my body, so I stopped. I reached for the necklace, unclapped, and let it fall from my hand to the bottomless abyss. There was no sound, as if there was no end to this. So I looked back at the white light. The light was getting brighter. It was flickering as if it was alive. And I could hear a gentle voice barely saying, comforting me through this cold and dark confinement. As the light intensified, the confines of the stairs seemed to fade, replaced by a warm, warming light. The voice now clearly prompting me to jump towards it. I tried to resist the urge, sat down on the stairs. The bright light dimmed, taking my only hope with it. I screamed back, "Come back!" But the bright light went back to dim and flickering. I heard a voice accusing me of failing him. The voice was accusing that I was the one who failed him, and leaned forward, looked back at the light, and the flickers didn't return, and perhaps this was a test. This was the opportunity of salvation. This may be the void calling me, offering me a chance of redemption. Maybe the void is trying to help me. So I stood up to the railing for my leap of faith. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Pratasha Guha. Today I am here to tell you a tale, might be a tale that you will always remember. Mistakes. We all have made mistakes in our lives. And for some, we are given punishment, and for some, we are forgiven. But what about the mistakes that happens due to unavoidable circumstances? Such mistake was made by Victoria. Victoria was a 28-year-old writer, and she resided in the Himalayas. As a writer, she wanted to confine herself in an isolated cottage house. Therefore, she chose an isolated village to stay and dedicate herself only to writing. It was a very cold night when she was standing by her window and witnessing the beautiful and mesmerizing view from the Himalayas of her cottage house. And then, suddenly she noticed something was anxious in her, very anxious. She couldn't understand why she was feeling it. But as she looked up in the sky, there was no moon. It was the darkest night, and she could feel the darkness inside her heart. As a writer, it is easy for her to feel all those feelings. When she looked at the deodar trees, she was thinking for a moment, what if they hide stories like my mind do? Might be they also hide some truths like I do. Then, suddenly she remembered that she had a deadline to work upon, the new book she was writing. Therefore, she decided to not think anymore and go back to her work and decided to write. Few hours passed by like that, and then she suddenly heard something, a knock on the door. She was anxious at first. Who could it be at this much night? Visiting a writer? She was shocked and confused both at the same time. Then she went to open the door. She found no one. She was surprised at first, a bit scared as well, as she was living alone. She thought of waving off her thoughts and going back to her work. So she decided to write again. As she was writing again, she heard a knock again. This time she was not disappointed. She saw a little girl with a black cat in her hand standing there by the door. She said in her low voice, "Please, let me in. I was on the way to my grandmother's house. She lives nearby, but it's very night and it's very cold. I'm lost. Please, will you let us stay?" Victoria was shocked for a moment. A little girl at this much night? Lost? Could it be a sign of something malicious? Then she decided to call her in anyway, as she was a little girl after all. Who wouldn't feel pity on her? But that was a mistake. She called her in and gave both of them something to eat and decided to go back to her work. As few hours more passed by, she started hearing few noises from the kitchen, so she decided to go and look. but she found nothing in the kitchen. Again, as she was walking by to her study, she started hearing noises again. She was thinking that this might be because she was stressing herself out too much because of the deadline of her new book. So she decided just to sleep. But before sleeping, she decided to check on that little girl and that black cat. They were fast asleep, might be tired. Then she moved to her bed and slept. But soon she was woken up by sudden shivers running down her spine. She couldn't understand why. She woke up from a nightmare, sweat trickling down her forehead. And as she woke up, she saw a shadow by her bed. And when she rubbed her eyes to clear what it was, she saw that it was that little girl holding that black cat in her hand. She said in a very heavy voice, "Why? Why did you do that to me? Why?" And then suddenly she grabbed the neck of the Victoria. Victoria was surprised and shocked at the same time that what she had done. But of course, some truths cannot be kept hidden. She was reminded of the past, the time when she had killed that girl because of an brake failures in her car while she was going back to her hometown. And she didn't even bother to look back at her, and that was her biggest mistake. That little girl was grabbing tight on her neck. Victoria was unable to speak, unable to think what to do. But then suddenly she remembered that she had a holy cross lying right under her pillow. So she took it out and posed it right in front of that little girl. She was burning suddenly. And then Victoria realized that this is not just a little girl, but a vengeful spirit who has come to take her revenge. And then that spirit disappeared. But after that night, Victoria was awakened by nightmares of that girl killing her in her sleep. And that ended up becoming Victoria's nightmares from that day on. Soon, the villagers found dead body of Victoria because she couldn't keep up with the pain and chaos of all that she had done in her past. That's it. Thank you.
Very good afternoon to one and all present here. So this is Arjit from the fashion department. So there is a story, it's not a story actually, it's a real incident that has occurred a couple of days ago with my friend. Actually, what happened is that she went to pursue her higher studies after class 12 in Calcutta, and she's studying in Scottish Church. So, of course, she has to stay in a paying guest, a PG, and like she's staying with two of her roommates, and there is a senior. So the senior's name is Sonia, and my friend's name is Rupanjana. So what happened is that it's kind of horrific also. It's kind of funny also. What happened? It's Sonia. So actually, that's. Oh, is it? Okay. So Sonia, the senior, she's quite creepy. Okay, and she behaves very. She behaves in a very creepy manner, in a very spooky type of a manner. She doesn't interact with people, and she is like in just a corner. Okay, she stays in a corner. And when my friend Rupanjana and her roommates discovered this, so they also find out what kind of a weird girl is she. Okay, and then each night, while PG girls, they stay awake till late night. What happened is that that girl Sonia, every day she goes to the terrace at night, and when she comes back, she gets her hair disheveled and her eyes red. So they try to discover the fact that what the hell is happening up over there. So Rupanjana and two of her roommates, they went there and they tried to follow her. What is she doing? So all of them are Bengali, and there is a saying also that Bengali people practice black magic. I know. The vision that they saw was quite terrifying, because they saw Sonia seated on a like iron bench, and she was carrying something, like she had some stuffs with a red color cloth or something like that, candles, and she was blabbering something. She was talking to someone. Seeing that, Rupanjana and my friends, they got terrified. They ran back to their room, and from that day they couldn't sleep. And Sonia got to know that there was like someone was present there. Not someone, some people were present there. So then she came back inside and then she started inquiring, like, who was there? Like, when I was alone upstairs, why were you three there? No one answered. And then she said, okay, maybe you all have some questions that I might not like to answer, but I'm answering. The one I speak to every day, and the way you see me after I come back from the terrace like this with disheveled hair or red eyes, because I talk to an evil spirit. Because as per Sonia, what happened is that her friend in 2019, she died. She committed suicide. Okay, because actually she was a lesbian and she was not accepted by her family. So she killed herself, and Sonia apparently says that her spirit communicates with Sonia, which was quite unnatural and very much weird to hear. I don't know if it's real or not, but as per her, it's true. So after hearing that, my friends, Rupanjana and the two of them, they got really scared and they couldn't sleep at all. And then she was like, no, no, don't worry. It's a good spirit. They liked you. So what happened? One day, she came back from the terrace again. And then she was like, Rupanjana, let's reserve this bed for her. She really wants to stay with y'all. Okay. Of course, she's a mere human being. She got really scared. And till now, she hasn't touched that bed yet. And then she's sleeping in some other room. What happened is that while all of them were there during that night, they could really feel a very chilling presence. They like slowly their whole body started becoming cold, and like they really felt like crying. And they tried to close a window, but it was not being able to close. Like they couldn't close that. I don't know why. Then what happened? The incident. This was reported to the owner of the PG, and then he said, you see, Sonia is like a left out child. She's your senior and no one talks to her. I think so she probably imagines these all things, and maybe she wants to dictate on you all, and maybe she wants to try acting bossy. That's why she said all these things. And then as per the complaints, and see, PG owners, they have to run this business. If he doesn't take any action, then other people, the juniors will run away from the PG, and that cannot happen. So what he did, he told Sonia to leave the PG. And then she was in college, she didn't know about the fact. Then she was informed later about leaving the PG. Then what happened is that she asked them, my friends, that who was the one who conspired against me and who said these all things to the PG owner. Now I have to leave the PG and I don't know where I'll go now. So she didn't say anything more. She just wrote a letter and she left in the evening. The one who has said about me, who has conspired against me, will meet with a horrific fate. And as I'm going away, I will take my friend also with me. But remember, whenever the time I'll go, there will be a bad omen will happen in this room. So don't get scared. So she wrote this thing. And what happened is that while she left and they could see that they have a mirror inside the room. The mirror was sliced, and my friend Rupanjana and the two of them, later on they realized that they have some scratch marks on their skin. And the following day when they woke up and like everything was normal, they could feel that okay, now everything is quite normal. The sunlight, the air and all, everything is coming. Like there is no chilling presence. So this is the story, which is a real experience of my friend.
Hello and good afternoon, everyone. I hope you all are excited to listen and go to the negative side of this world. I hope you all have experienced once or twice in your life some paranormal activities. Even I have experienced a lot. Let's begin. I was born on 14th Feb. Wow, Valentine's Day. Yes. But on the same day, a person was dead. And we have often heard, like, if a person dies, he instantly takes birth or rebirth. And the locality where I was born, he was from the same locality. People started to say, like, that same person took a rebirth. And my life started with a mystery. Slowly and steadily, I grew up. And it is also said on 14th Feb, Saint Valentine died. So it's not a day of love, it's a day of sorrow. I have completed my first 7 years of my schooling from Auxilium Convent, a school of Christians. And we have often heard Christians have a lot of haunted stories. My school was directly in front of the mighty dump yard. And beside that was the mighty graveyard. One day, we were having our practice for our annual sports day, and it was around 7 p.m. where we all the friends were heading back. Near the dump yard, there were no street lights and no proper road. We were walking slowly toward the Don Bosco Mode, where we saw a lady, a old lady who can be called as a rag picker. Seeing her, being a notorious child, we started to howl so that she could get scared because it was all dark at that place. But she didn't give any reaction. She was just looking at us, and seeing her not getting horrified, we got scared and we started to run as fast as we could. Some days later, our half-yearly examination was on the board, and being an average student, I had to sit back in my tuition and complete my course for the examination. I was sitting back, and it was around 10:45-11 when I was asked to go back to the home. And my mother has said me earlier that don't cross the Chauraha during night. But again, being a notorious child, I will try something new. What I did, I started to eat some chips because I was hungry, and I took a packet of chocolate. At that same time, what I did, I just crossed that place. And the moment when I just a minute or two, I was about to reach my house, I saw the same lady. Seeing that same lady, I started to cry, and I ran as fast as I could towards my tuition. You all must be thinking why I was crying seeing that lady. A person can travel from one place to another. But the reason was, the day when we saw the lady, then after that, the next day, we shared this incident with our teacher. And he said, the lady about which you all are talking is the same lady who died 1 week ago. And the reason of her death was murder. And her body was found in that same garbage. And we were the one who were talking about that same lady. And that was the reason I started to cry and went back to my tuition. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you to all the participants who have participated today. And as our dear judges are calculating for the final scores, our beloved Vishnu sir has a story to share.
Nah, it's like the very moment I'm talking about this incident, I can recall the things back because you know, if I ask any of the student what is the most scariest place for you, will always say it's college. Okay, so it's 2017. I left SVS College and I joined St. Agnes College, and there are few things which I will even you can later research about these things. St. Agnes College was British built, okay. It was British built somewhere in 1943. It was built by sisters, and it is women's college, okay. So St. Agnes College, women's college, and the part was like Vishnu Pujari has joined an all women college, and few people said that the moment I used to tell my friends that I have joined a women's college, then I told that this is the salary which I get, then they were like, oh, you get salary also. So Jokes apart, yeah, I'll first speak about the St. Agnes. Then, if I get time, I'll even tell you the story of Mona Lisa also. Which, anyways, 2017, I joined St. Agnes, and I used to take class. And even today also, if you see in the internet, you will find that all the buildings, whatever the Britishers had built, the same buildings are there. Okay, the same wooden floor. Okay, the roof tiles and everything. I used to take class. Normally the class was going on, one semester had finished and the next semester started. Okay, so during that time, one of the student, okay, Janisha Lobo, she started to scream in the classroom only. I was taking class, it was a normal classroom. First I thought that because all women's college, right now this is a co-ed college, so people are like, okay, but when it's a complete all women's college, they are very notorious, okay. Especially these girls, when they are all together, they are very notorious. So I thought that it might be some kind of prank or a joke kind of thing. All of a sudden in the class, she started to speak something in Konkani, Maka Gottuna, and all those things she started to say. So it was quite difficult thing. I told that, please don't do such kind of nonsense. I thought that it's a prank kind of thing. Then the students were like, the moment her expressions and everything looking at that, it was quite horrifying. And I called the sister, okay. And when the sister came, everyone are trying to stop her. And male faculties were very less over there, okay. So we are trying to stop her. We called the doctor, doctors were called. And they told that this girl was already going through depression and anxiety and all. Okay. So, okay, fine, everything was okay. I was sitting, because it was my class, me, sister, we were all sitting together, and during that time, whatever she was saying, we heard it. Then when the doctor came, doctor said that it is depression and all. So we thought that it's a psychological thing. But whatever she said, she told that her name is Flavia. Actually, her name was Janisha. And she was from Kerala, but she could still speak Konkani, which was quite... and what we did is, we went through the records. After everything got cleared, parents told that yes, she had some problems and all. We went to the records and we found the name of Flavia over there. Flavia Romal, I still remember. She was from the batch of 1978 or 1976. Okay. And the moment we went through her records, we called her parents. Like, it was just a kind of research work. And when we came to know about it, the thing what she said about Flavia, we spoke to her parents. Because none of, even sister, she was principal, she had no idea about who Flavia was. So when we asked her parents, how many of you have the habit of making fun of your friends and like, it's just a joke, light joke she can take. We do that. Okay. This girl, Flavia, the story now, coming back to Janisha, what Janisha had told, that she was locked inside the door. Her friends thought that, okay, they used to, bully her every time. And once what happened, she was locked inside the door, and these people, they forget that she is inside the door. And it was vacation. After that, the vacation happened, and the things were quite unusual. Her parents also told the same story, that, she passed away because of this ragging kind of issue that had happened. Though it was like quite innocent, people were just having fun, but they forgot because of that reason. And even today, you won't believe, there are so many things which have not, the building is not changed, same old things are there. That doors which are there, that room which was there, where she died actually, there are nail marks, because she was, for so many days she was there. We have came to know that the doctors during that time told that she started scratching the wall, she became completely insane, and she started eating her own flesh. Because when you are, few days of, if you sleep for 2 days, if you are not sleeping for 2 days, 3 days, fine. After the 4th day, you get that mentality, you are something different. Like a drug addict you will be. You don't know what you are doing. And that girl died like that. And when I came to know about this story from the parents' side, can you see behind the curtains from down, there are that lights are coming, okay? Similar way, there was, we used to take class, and behind there used to be some room like that way. So every time, whenever I used to take class, there used to be some shadows which used to go here and there. So I used to think that maybe just like how here there is a sunlight, if something is passing by, then that shadow comes. The moment we all went to that room, there was no window only in that room. There was no window, and then I recalled those things, that how difficult, how creepy those things are. Even today, the nail marks and everything are still there over on the doors. So that's the thing. And you told about Mona Lisa. I don't know. Maybe probably students who used to stay in Mona Lisa, they know about the Mona Lisa thing. Many people say that it's haunted, but few things which we experience, yes, that dolls which you are talking about. In the second floor, there are 2 dolls which are just thrown like, there is a window over here. Okay, this side 1 doll, that side 1 doll near the stairs. Okay, from first floor, beside this stairs, you will find some candle. Like every day morning, this person, the sweeper, he cleans that. Okay, exactly the next day again those candle marks would be there. Okay, and I was even saying that the things that I felt once, Shushavan sir, we all stay in the same flat. So Shushavan told that he is going to Kolkata, and I said okay fine, he is going to Kolkata, I know. All of a sudden at night there is people are speaking, and there is a sound, drrr, sound is I can hear that sound. Then I am banging the door. I thought that he might have not gone. I am banging the door. I said, where are you? Have you gone? He's saying that I am in train right now. What happened? The moment I banged the door, the voice stopped, but the drrr sound did not stop. Okay. And I said, that have you taken any supari or something to kill me, because this kind of things are not funny. He said, I did not do anything. The trimmer started. It was the sound of the trimmer. So yes, if you see those story, the old people, the watchmen, they don't discuss with everyone, but things had happened like that long time back, and there is a reason why you can see the ground floor is still empty. Before 15,000 was the rent. Now they are ready to sell it. I don't know how many of you know they are ready to sell that thing. And probably on every Thursday by 2:15 you will find that all the dogs howl at the same time. And exactly if you come after 12 or 1 a.m. At night, you'll find that the watchman shuts everything, and he will not even, no matter how much you knock, he will not open the window or anything. He'll put all the curtains, everything he'll lock himself, and he'll sit. Every Thursday night, 2:15, 2:20, all the dogs will howl together. Still happens.
To call Mrigankus and Niranjan sir to say a few words and announce the winners.
Niranjan sir. So it was a wonderful event by the Literary Club of Inspiria, and a wonderful time. Yes, there were quite some spooky stories, pretty much. There were few originals as well, and good delivery. The only thing that I would want, the only thing that I felt, I'm sorry if it rubs in a wrong way, but then the thing is that if it's a speech competition, it's a storytelling competition, you need to tell and not read. That's probably the only place where a few of you lost marks, but nevertheless, the kind of, the level of the speeches that was given today was pretty good. I was really amazed and surprised to see some of you who came up and spoke really well. Given that each and every one of you are a winner here, but then nevertheless, we only have 2 trophies to give, and we have nothing to cut the trophies in half and give it to all the 10 of you. But then, having said that, Niranjan sir, if you could please do the honors.
All right, let's jump in. As usually all the judges say, after a very minute deliberation and cutthroat competition of marks, we finally come to the result. We'll announce position number 2, or the first runner-up. That goes to Madhushri Das Sarma. Sorry. Congratulations. I think Miss Preeti can come and do the honors. You've done a great deal for the club, so why don't you give it away to your kids? We can stand with me. Thank you. And the first position goes to, which was pretty much obvious, to Miss Disha Saraf. Wonderful storytelling skills, great voice modulation, eye contact, spookiness, everything at its best.